Care for the Paw actually goes round and looks after the dogs of homeless people. We also support those who are in hostels and those who are accommodated with low-level support. We provide them with dog food, we provide toys for them, dog coats, leads, collars, anything dog-related that they need, we can provide. We also, most importantly, provide vet care. A lot of people who are on the streets don't have access to vet care, so we actually do an outreach programme where we can go and our vets come out and treat the dogs on the street. This evening we just had an outreach around Liverpool city centre, bitterly cold night, and we didn't see too many dogs. We saw quite a number, but not as many as we usually do, and we're hoping that's because most of them are inside at the local council-run hostel where the guys can take the dogs in with them. So we're hoping that's where they all are. And the few that we saw some new faces tonight. We also saw some regular dogs too, that we see every week, whose owners don't particularly want to go into the shelters. They prefer to stay on the streets for many and varied reasons, but we're there to support them.
We're with Care for the Paw, and our whole aim is to support the dogs of homeless people on the streets of Liverpool, and hopefully in the near future a few other cities as well. And so it's Saturday night and we're going out tonight to walk around the streets and see if we can find any people who might need our help. But also we have a station, it's at the basement in Liverpool for anyone to pop in and pick up anything they might need. So the things that we're providing would be veterinary attention from Amrit or me, or there's a couple of other vets here tonight that are helping us. We give out flea and worm treatments, and just any issues they might think of. We're here to try and reassure them and give them any help.
I mean, this is my second visit here, so I haven't got the most experience in terms of, like, you know, first-hand going on the streets and seeing, you know, what the actual work is like. I guess, well, I mean, I've been graduated for 2 years. I'm just like, you know, like a regular vet, you know, look after cats and dogs, as most vets tend to do. I've done some charity work abroad, but I only found out about these guys recently. I didn't realise that there was, you know, an opportunity to kind of do work in my own backyard. So it's nice that this kind of I guess infrastructure and kind of facilities are here, and looking forward to kind of, you know, trying to do some work without having to like fly in on a plane to go and help dogs, you know. So
that's it.
Yeah.
And I think you were saying if you hadn't found us, you were thinking about doing it yourself, but you're setting something up, weren't you?
Yeah.
Which is a position I was in 2 years earlier, when I thought there must be somebody helping these people, because these dogs need some attention. And there wasn't anyone, so that's when Jan and I joined up and started trying to help. So I just beat you to it.
You did. A couple of years of graduation as well, I think.
Yeah, got the edge. But I mean, a lot of people are going out on the streets at the moment, and we're getting a lot of people saying to us, how can I help? Because it's so cold at the moment, there's so many more homeless people out on the streets. It's just an issue that people are becoming really aware of. So everybody's having similar ideas now. So I just happened to get there when there was nobody already doing it. So Jan and I and the other people who we work with have sort of been building it up. But the more people we can get to come and help us, reliable people who care about the issues, like Amrit, it's so ace to get them on board. So everybody who wants to help us, please keep turning up and sending us food. We need food and blankets and things.
Every dog legally has to be microchipped in the UK. So Care for the Paw enable that to happen, because obviously you need a fixed address to register your chips to. So Care for the Paw has their own charity address. So it means dogs on the street can still be registered. If they get lost, or in some cases they've been stolen, we can hopefully reunite people with their dogs through the charity address.
I think it's really, really important if you see a homeless person with or without a dog, you know, to not be afraid, not to just to step in, ask if they're okay. If somebody's outside the supermarket or shop, just to, rather than to give money, just to ask if there's something that they could get, particularly if they don't say, maybe a hot drink or a sandwich. It's always really, really useful because however great the charity is, we can't be everywhere all the time. So if you see someone who has got a dog, just to ask if they've got food for that dog, because actually dog food is quite heavy, and so if somebody moves around and they don't have a lot of bags, it's really good if they if you can just pop into a shop and get a few tins of dog food, because that's kind of how this charity started, was making sure that the dogs on the streets were fed. And it's also, you know, it's just a human touch to actually speak to somebody and not to walk by like they're not there. And sometimes actually having the dog allows you to have that interaction and just ask about the dog, if the dog's okay, if the dog needs some food. That's great. And obviously also if you saw a dog that you felt was in distress, to know that there is a charity in Liverpool, For The Paw, that they can get hold of, and then one of the vets, you know, if we can find out where they are, because obviously the community changes and we see different dogs or the same people with new dogs. It's always really important. So people on the streets in town are our eyes and ears, or they could be. And so that's a challenge for everybody, or an ask for everybody, not to walk by and to help us by just, you know, having those conversations and keeping their eyes peeled. Even if you don't want to say anything, if you feel that you see a dog who's in distress, to know that in Liverpool there is a charity specifically geared and ready and armed to go out and help.